So let us start with the chapter complexometry titration. Now in this chapter we will cover the following points. First of all, the introduction to complexometry titration, various definitions we will take, method of preparation of standard EDTA solution, EDTA titration curve, Welcher's rules for the EDTA titration, PM, that is the metal ion potentiality versus the volume of EDTA graph, types of EDTA titrations. In detail we will take 4 main types and the subtypes, and lastly we will take the metal ion indicators, its principle and various metal ion indicators used for the complexometric titrations. So very first let us understand what do you mean by a titration. So whenever you are given a solution whose concentration is unknown, you have to determine the concentration of that solution using a solution whose concentration is known. That is, say for example, in case of the first type of titration, acid base or neutralization titration, we take say for example HCl in a conical flask, titrate it with a known concentration of sodium hydroxide solution using an indicator, say phenolphthalein, so that you can determine the concentration of an unknown acid HCl or acetic, whatever acid you have taken in a conical flask. So these are the this is the basis of the titration. What do you understand by a titration? So basically there are 4 types of titrations: neutralization or acid base titration, second redox titration, in which we are dealing or we are using the oxidizing agent and reducing agent and determine the concentration of an unknown solution. Third is the precipitation titration, wherein there occurs the formation of precipitates, the insoluble portion, right? And the next type is the complexometric titration, that we will take in detail. So first we will see what is a complexometry titration. So this is the titration method which is based on the formation of a complex. Now how the complex is formed? We have the central metal atom or an ion. Say we have the central metal atom which has vacant orbitals, that is the condition. The second ion or a molecule which we take is the ligand. Ligand is nothing but a donor species, or it is known as complexing agent. This ligand may be a neutral molecule or negatively charged, or sometimes it may be positively charged. So this ligand possesses excess of electron pair which it can donate to the vacant orbitals of the metal atom by forming the coordinate bond. So this is the formation of a complex. Simple definition: a complex is formed by donating the electron pair. Who donates? The ligand donates the electron pair to the metal atom, and hence it gives the formation of a complex. Titration of this is based on this titration method based on the complex formation is known as the complexometry titration. So this is the basic definition of the complexometry titration. Now here the metal which is there, it shows 2 types of valencies. Let us see that. First is the primary valency and the second one is the secondary valency. Now let us understand this by taking one example. Say you have this complex formation. This is a complex formed. Now here what happens is a copper ion is there. It reacts with ammonia molecule, giving the formation of tetra amino copper. Okay. Here the complex which is formed is attached to the ligand, that is ammonia, which is a neutral ligand, plus 2. It can be balanced by any negative ion, say if it is SO4. Okay, so we know these two terms. Inside the square bracket, whatever is there, we call this as a coordination sphere, and outside this square bracket, whatever is present is known as ionizable sphere or ionization sphere. Now these ionization sphere which is there, that is ionizable, it gives the primary valency, or it gives the oxidation number of the central metal atom, which is formed, that is, it is the primary valency. Now this ammonia molecule which is present inside the square bracket, that is, it is in the coordination sphere, it is formed by a coordinate bond. Now this gives the number of the secondary valency. Secondary valency is nothing but the ligands which are directly attached to the central metal atom by the coordinate bond. That is the coordination number, and oxidation number, which is the ionizable valency or the primary valency. So in case of this example, the primary valency of copper, that will be always of a central metal atom. Okay, primary valency of a central metal atom copper is +2 here. Okay, and secondary valency of this copper is 4. Okay, so this is the basis of the complex formation, complexometry titration. Now what is a ligand? It is a definition given: a negative or a neutral molecule which joins with the metal ion by the coordinate covalent bond forming a complex is known as a ligand. Few examples are given: cyanide, ammonia, water, chloride, bromide, halide, and ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. So we have studied in detail the various types of ligands, starting from monodentate, bidentate, tridentate to polydentate. Alright, so this gives the formation of a complex. Now according to Lewis acid base theory, if we see, in case of a metal and ligand, if we define this in terms of acid base, if you want to define, right, acid according to Lewis acid base theory is an atom or ion or a molecule which accepts the electron pair. So in case of metal ligand, who accepts the electron pair? Metal accepts the electron pair. So metal acts as an acid, whereas the base is defined as the molecule or atom which donates electron pair according to Lewis acid base theory. So base is termed as a ligand is termed as a Lewis base. Okay, so in case of complex, metal acts as an acid and ligand act as a base based on the Lewis acid base theory. Now one more term you have to study is a chelate. Now what are chelates? When the ligands are attached to the central metal atom by coordinating sites, say if it is a monodentate ligand, it will get attached by one coordination site. If it has more denticity, that means it has more coordination site, that is, say for example more than 2, that is 5 or 6 membered heterocyclic ring, and it gets attached to the metal, it forms a structure like a claw, a claw like, right? A chelate is a word obtained from a Greek word chele, chele, and it gives the structure a ring structure, a claw like structure, claw. So due to this ring structure, what happens is the complex formed will be more stable and strong. So that is known as a chelate or a ring structure. Also we call this complexometry titration as a chelatometry titration. Alright. What are the chelating agents? So generally the organic ligands which are involved in the coordination complexes are termed as chelating agents. Most widely used chelating agent is EDTA. Now see, what happens in a complexometry titration? Actually what happens when you add an indicator in any of the solution, it helps to give the sharp color change so that you can determine the end point, and hence you can identify or you can determine the concentration of a given unknown solution. So here what we will identify? We will identify the concentration of the metal ion, the central metal atom which is there, it is present in the solution. To this metal ion solution we add an indicator. See, first we will not titrate directly. First we will add indicator to this metal, so there is some color. So before titration with EDTA, it has some color. This is the color due to indicator initially before adding EDTA. After that we start adding EDTA solution so that it gives some color change. This color is near to equivalent point. This is not the end point. So on adding more amount, here you want, say this example we are taking is a titration of magnesium, because we want to determine the concentration of Mg plus 2. So titration of magnesium ion by EDTA using Eriochrome black tea indicator. Now Eriochrome black tea indicator is a type of a metal ion indicator which is used for the complexometric analysis. Now near the end point you will get some color. Actually we want the color change is wine red to blue. So in between something like violet color you will get. So that is not the end point, but that is near to the end point or equivalence point. So wine red to blue is the end point. What happens in the solution here? When you add an indicator to the solution which contains the metal ion, metal indicator complex is formed. Alright, first thing is metal indicator complex formation. This is the first thing. So metal indicator complex which is formed, it gives some color. Now important condition is the metal indicator complex which is there, it should not be a stable one. Why? Because we will add EDTA from the burette which gives the formation of metal EDTA complex, which is actually the amount of the metal ion utilized. So finally we get metal EDTA complex. This complex should be more stable than metal indicator complex. So this reaction is only possible only if metal EDTA complex is more stable than metal indicator complex. This is the most important condition in case of complexometric titration. So stability of metal indicator complex should be less than the stability of metal EDTA complex. Then only we get the exact end point, the change in the color. Now we start with the conditions that are required for the complexometric titration. First condition, whenever you are doing the titration of metal with EDTA, it should be stoichiometric so that the calculation can be done easily. Now what do you mean by stoichiometric titration? The reaction should be in a balanced form. Say for example, you are taking 2 moles, say in the process of Haber's process, you know, for the synthesis of ammonia we use Haber's process. So it is actually nitrogen plus hydrogen giving ammonia, right? So whatever number of moles are used, that many numbers consequently gives the product. So that is a ratio, should be a balanced ratio. Okay, so stoichiometry means the relationship between the reactant and product which is in a balanced form. This is required so that the calculation can be done easily. Second is the rate of reaction, that is the speed at which the reaction take place, should be sufficient and fast. It should not be, what does this indicate? It indicates that the reaction should not be over titrated or it should not be under titrated. That means it should give the color change fast and sufficient. The reaction should complete. Alright. Third point, the complex which is formed, it should be stable, meaning The final complex which is formed, it is a soluble complex. It should remain as it is once the end point is achieved. So if it is showing the color change, the color change should not disappear. If the color change obtained at the end point disappears, that means the complex which is formed is not stable. So to get the sharp end point, the complex which is formed at the end should be a stable complex. Fourth point, titration reaction between the metal ion and EDTA should be in few steps, and hence a sharp end point should be obtained. It should be easy to understand, simple method should be available to know the end point. It should not be a tedious or the various types of color change that which you cannot identify, right? So it should be simple method, it should have a few steps, and sharp end point should be, observable end point should be there. There should not be any precipitation during the titration. This is also a condition required for the complexometric analysis. Now if there is a precipitation, it hinders in the particular identification of a metal ion. So there should not occur a precipitation during the formation of a complex. If at all it is there, it should be overcome by using some of the solvents or a buffer is used. Next, a reaction equilibrium should be in order by adding reagent. Now see, whenever we are doing any of the titrations, you are given a method, the steps that you have to follow. So this equilibrium is established, the reaction occurs in that order as we go on adding the reagent. It is not that you add, say you are taking here metal first, to that you have to provide a basic medium, so you add a buffer solution of ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. After that you add indicator and then titrate with EDTA solution. So this sequence is to be followed so that the reaction equilibrium is established, and hence you get the perfect color change at the end point. So that order you have to maintain. You can't add the indicator first and then you take the metal solution, to that you add a buffer solution. Okay. And last point is, when more than one complexes are formed in the same titrations, it should not disturb the reaction. This we will take in detail when we take the types of titration, wherein we will be using a masking method to mask any of the ion so that the other ion is free to react with the titrating agent, and hence we determine the concentration of a particular ion. See here what this point says is, if in a solution two metal ions are present, we want to determine any one, say magnesium is present along with zinc, we want to determine the concentration of magnesium. So both magnesium and zinc when titrated gives the formation of a complex. Hence we get the total volume of the mixture, that is both the ions. So it is required that any one of the ion does not react with EDTA. If it reacts, it disturbs the reaction. So any method is to be employed so that one of the ion does not disturb the other ion for its determination. We will take this in types in detail. Okay, so these are the conditions required for the complexometric titrations. These are some reference books you can refer for the analytical chemistry or this particular topic, or general any of the topic of analytical chemistry.